Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of El Koki Otaku. Today with us, we have a very special guest. He is the director for animes such as Urusei Yatsura, Oshi No Ko, Yaboy Kong Ming, Call of the Night, and the list just keeps on going. So today, please help us welcome Shannon Reed.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks to you for being here. It's so early today also.
Yeah,
I'm still waking up just in case. So we all are just waking up.
But or are we?
No, just because that's a little background info. We normally tend to record like late at night, and today's like super early in the morning.
All good. This is perfectly fine. I had like 2 cups before I got on, so hey, we're good.
I feel like I had to record with you, Shannon, try to find you, because every time we interview like a voice actor, especially in the area of Texas, the chance that they will name you, they will say your name, Shannon, help me, Shannon is the most important. I'm every text to Shannon, it was so high, and every time that we have a new voice actor, they bring your name. So they will make it to the point that I'm like, oh my God, I need to see who's Shannon finally, because he's like everybody's hero right now.
Oh no, I'm just a guy. Everyone that is part of like these shows, like they work really hard and stuff. So, I just do my job. I help guide and help tell the story, enhance the story. But it's overall team effort. It's like everyone really works hard to bring the most to each show. So yeah, I'm just happy to be here.
But you're being kind of humble here. I feel like you're being very humble because when people speak so much your name, there's something going on. So for us who doesn't know too much about the voice dub world, what is the voice acting director role, and what really main functions?
Well, it goes into a lot of different things. It's not just, let's record a voice and that sounds good, let's move on. No, it's actually, it gets pretty detailed before we even get to like the recording process. It's like all of this pre-production that gets done beforehand. So for like a normal day for me, let's say I'm going to start on a brand new show. Okay. And I have my set deadlines where, okay, this needs to air by this date. Like I have my air dates. And so I have I'm creating my own timeline to get to that air date. And so for me, it all starts with research. So looking up as much information that I can. And for me in particular, I'm a big note taker. So I have just tablets of just notes, whether going down to the entire story arc, from beginning to end. And then I like to go into character arcs, where's our character starting off here? Where do they end up? And all of the little details, things that, things that you probably never hear, but you kind of see and notice and stuff, where this is very important and helpful when it comes to recording these scenes. And so really just getting as much information, doing as much research that I can, and before we actually get people in the studio. And so really once after we go through the research process, then that's when things get a bit more technical on the setup, where of course you have line counts, scripts, budgeting. And so what happens is with shows, we dub the shows, so you have the original Japanese audio and the original Japanese dub. And so we receive the materials files, which there's a department that prepares everything for English broadcasting. Then we receive the original Japanese scripts, and we have our own in-house translators that translate it to English. And so then every director is a writer. We also have teams of writers, a team of writers as well. And so we then take the translations and we write it to, to make it flow for the English audience. And so the pretty much we take it and just like that includes like just making it the lines flow as well as mouth flaps. And so which it's also not the final form, because once you get into the actual studio and you're recording, not every line is perfect by the time we get to the recording process, which requires like every director is a writer and every director knows how to make adjustments in the moment, where it's like, oh well, this doesn't really work out, well let me rewrite this, let's try this. And so but we take the time for each line that you hear. So every line, reaction, everything has been like thoroughly looked at. Nothing has been skipped over. But yeah, like I said, it goes through translation. We have the script writing process, and so as far as we make all of our pre-pro for that. Then we get into like budgeting and stuff, like adding everything up. So it's kind of more of a producer job and stuff, but we take on that role as well. And then of course we get to the casting process, which casting calls, auditions, cold reads. So we go through auditions to find the right voice, and of course, like you have a general idea of like, okay, well, this is the direction that I want to go into, or this and that. But you take a time to have these auditions and to look and find the right voice for the characters. And then once you find your cast, then that's when we get into scheduling, booking, and then we begin the actual recording process. And so that's when, okay, pre-production is over. We are now in the production phase. And so, even in the recording process, it's, it's me, the actor, the engineer, audio engineer, which for every director, the engineer is just as important. And of course, like the actor is like, they're the ones bringing the voice and bringing the life to the character. And so it's kind of like a communication. It's like two sets of communication. One is, of course, communicating with the actor. And so, you go over the overall arc of the story, like what's to come, what's about to happen. Discovering who this character is, like the breakdown, what do they have to gain, what do they have to lose, all of the emotions, the things that they're going through. And then we're kind of taking this journey through recording, because we're growing with the character as we get into all the details and as we moving forward, like we're fleshing out the character. And so you have a lot, pretty much half your time is like dedicated to really like bringing the most out of the character and delivering like the right intensity and moments. And then you also have more of the technical side, where the director and the engineer, there's like a separate language going on as well in the recording process, because okay, with the actors, we're going over all the details in the story and where we need to be on all levels. And then you have the communication between the director and the engineer, where we're looking at story, tone, intensity, everything, as well as so many technical things where, okay, so there was there was a little something here, or we need to adjust here, or we need to slow this down, stretch this out. We need to take this again, take our time here. Oh, this the actor was a little off axis from the mic, so let's get that again. So it's a lot that you're looking at, but it's like two sets of communication to deliver like the final product. But after the recording phase, which every voice that you hear, that is an actor that has been brought into the studio. So like we're going through these episodes and this series like over and over again with each person, each actor. This is like their experience in the booth, and we take that journey with every single actor that comes in. They may have one role or a few and stuff, but every person that walks in, we're going through this entire story with them. Next person that comes in, we're going through this entire story. So we get, of course, like we're very familiar with every show. And but once we finish recording, like once everyone is in, then of course we get to the post-production process, which that's when we really like get into looking at everything as a whole, and it gets into the mixing process, and then everything gets cleaned up, and it gets to its final stage or stages. And so of course it's thoroughly checked to make sure that everything is good. And so when everything is done, locked in and ready, then that's when it goes out. So it is a process where it's like, even after recording process, it's like we're still looking at things. We're looking at what needs to be done, if anything needs to be done, adjustments. And so kind of like the final few checks, watch throughs and stuff, just to make sure everything is good, and then it goes out, and then on to the next.
I'm in shock. I never saw the role of a director. It's almost like an engineer, a program manager. You're like overseeing everything and leading everything, even budget. That never crossed my mind that you also have to deal with the budget part.
Yeah. It's a lot of different hats and roles, like where it's like, because from talking to people, like some people think, you just come into the studio. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good. It's like, no, you're really going into details with this, where it's like, who is this character, like, and their motivations, like, no, I need more out of this. And so the communication and then the understanding with the actor is a very important aspect to this, where it's like you're really breaking down these scenes and characters and emotions, and every show is different, but there are always like you have different genres, you have different types of shows where it's like this is more over the top comedic, this is very heavy and serious, and your approach is very important. And then also the words you say, the things that you communicate with each actor, it's like it's important because you want to hit the right notes. You want the actors to have a great understanding of what's happening and going on. And so it's a trust thing too, because it's like you want to have that clear understanding. And you, of course, like the biggest thing is that you want to give the show and each character their justice, that like this is we did the best and delivered the best that we could, because there are so many fans of this show, and like there is a fan for every show, and we want to make sure that we do our best.
When might be a signal that you're working one series is done? Is when they go live on the on TV or market, or is weeks after the premiere, the last episode? When does job finish for one series?
Well, usually by the time like if when it goes public or live, and everyone's like, oh yeah, like it's hitting the end, like it's the thing. We're already like like for us, like we work on stuff, like of course before things get announced, like we are aware of what's happening. So it always kind of surprises me, catches me off guard, because like I haven't been a big social media person. Like I am active on social media, but it always kind of freaks me out when something goes live, like the first episode or the last episode is airing and stuff, and like I just see like social media, Twitter, whatever, Instagram, just like go crazy with like all these notifications, and it's like, oh, yeah, I'm like working halfway through this or this and stuff, and it's like, oh, it's out. But but it's like usually like it's more on our end when it's like it's ready to go. It's good, where that's when I get the like, okay, cool, and then it's just a matter of time before it airs publicly. So you know, by the time it airs publicly, like I'm working on like something else, or I'm like further in if it's like a weekly type of airing show, like a simulcast type show, where it's like, well, that's cool, like episode 1 dropped. I may be further down working on like a much later episode, but it's like cool. But usually I get that relief when it's ready to go on our end. So, and then a little bit like when a show ends too, then that is a little bit of a like a second when like, okay. So
Finally.
So I wrote down like a couple of questions while you were talking about the entire pre-production, production, and then post-production stage. I'm gonna start with like the simplest one. For those of us who have no idea, have never been in the acting world, have no idea what you're talking about, when you mentioned cold read, what is that?
Oh, okay. So if you were an actor, well, if you wanted to voice act or really audition for a lot of things, whether it be voiceover or film, sometimes TV, cold reads is when you come in and you may have an idea of what you're auditioning for, but you're basically given within sometimes a short amount of time a breakdown where you have some time to review the script or the scene, whatever character you're auditioning for, and you are giving your performance like in front of the director, casting director, and so that's kind of like your moment to kind of show what you got. And so really like it's in it's not like you don't have like 6 months with the script, and to really like you don't have a lot of time to kind of flesh out this character, your idea. It's like, no, this is like, okay, thank you for coming in, and so this is what we're going to be working on. This is the character, or these are the characters I like to audition for. And so it's not a long or large amount of time where it's like you have to you're giving an audition. So it's like you may have a week or 2 weeks, whatever, to with the information to review, or sometimes you're just really just coming in the day of, and it's like, okay, well, let's take a moment, and while you're in the waiting room and stuff, to review the character and scenes, and then when it's time to go and give the audition, there it is. Like you get the breakdown from the director and what this is, what scene we're going to be trying out, and so that's then your moment to give it your all. So it's pretty perfect. Normal, and I hear that a lot of actors may not be fans of cold reads, but that is kind of a normal thing too. So on my end, I'm fine with cold reads, but
All right. So my next question. So 2 out of 3. My next question will be: how much time do you guys have to prepare for an anime? Because you said that when you get all this information, you like to do your research. But what about these anime that come out so quickly? Like, okay, let's say it's simulcast. It's simulcast or simuldub, I should say. How much time do you really have, like on average, to prepare for an anime from the time you get all the material and your studio secures or they give your studio the rights to dub this, to the time that, okay, I have this, now I have to do my research, and now here, let's do the entire production stage and then post-production, and then it's out.
Well, that really kind of depends, but we're given a decent amount of time, usually to from when we receive the show. Like, okay, this is what we're going to be doing. You have a decent amount. It's hard to kind of like really pinpoint like this time or this time, because like every show can be different. But it is enough to where it's like, okay, I know what I need to do here. So it's kind of a hard thing to like lock down this time. So.
But correct me if I'm wrong in this assumption, but I feel like when I compare anime with 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and today's day, the pace of expectation of stuff has speed up way too much. I feel like in years before, it was normal to take a year, months for anime series to be dubbed. But at the moment as today, the way the market is moving, I feel like 3 weeks for some series is way too much already. So with that acceleration of production expectation, how do you handle that?
Well, well, I mean, I think with any business, like, because like the world's always changing, updating. Like, 20 years ago, it's like we didn't have streaming services, so that wasn't a thing. Pacing was different. We didn't have like, live internet and all of the, but every day, every year, things are constantly updating and changing, and it's like really just production in general, or just like entertainment specifically, you're always gonna be, things are gonna always be changing, and you have to learn to adapt. So really it's just like it may sound like very but it's like you have to be adaptable and keep up with the present or the changing times. And so it can be it can be a lot and stuff, but kind of like you keep your cool. Remember your training and your craft, and it's like really like, I don't know, like it's kind of like you find, or you look for the solutions, like how can I do this better, how can I change or adapt to get to this standard, or get to where I need to be here. And so it's like, it's definitely like a learning process, because you never really stop learning, but it's like you really just have to figure out, like and so like just a lot of like just entertainment in general, like you have to be open and ready for adaptable changes, and learning how to adjust, like being flexible in that sense. So it's like, okay, so this is how things are now. Okay, well, how do we adjust? How do we do this and that? So be very flexible in how to adapt.
All right.
Definitely.
So my last question for now is, I'm gonna work under an assumption, and please correct me if I'm wrong. To my understanding, a voice actor doesn't really know everything that's going on. That's the job of the director, obviously. But so as a director, that like you're given materials and you know what's going to go on and what's going to happen later on. Like, how much can you reveal to the voice actors about like what's going to happen afterwards? Because they're recorded, they're here, and they're recording for like episode 1. But my assumption is you guys already know like what's going on in episode 3 or 5 or etc. Is that true?
Well, yeah, yeah, like you know what's happening, for sure. But I think when it comes down to like how much you reveal to the actor, that's more dependent on like the director, like because every director has their own style, and way that they go about directing. Like everyone is different, so you could reveal like just full on the table, like this is everything, or you can kind of piece it piece by piece. So it kind of depends on who's directing and also the situation, like because like there have been times where it's like, yeah, like I'll give you the overall story and what's happening all together and stuff, and there are some times where it's like, well, let's take a step back, let's piece it together like this, where we're just kind of focusing here. Don't worry about big picture, because sometimes it can be overwhelming and stuff, and it's like, let's stay right here, and then slowly as we go along you kind of see and reveal more of like the grand scale of things. But it kind of depends on the situation, and also, yeah, it really depends on the director, because there's some directors that's like, yep, this is boom, and then there's some that are like, well, I'm gonna let you in here, you're here. But it really depends on who you're working with, and also the like I said, the show. I think it's good to keep everyone informed with what's going on. Like, if there's like a really nice reveal where it's like, oh, I really want to get a reaction here or something like that, then it's like, yeah, you can, it's fine. But as far as like if it's like very heavy topics or this or that and stuff, and it's like, I want to make sure everyone has a full understanding on what we're going to get into, then of course, like that's very important to reveal that information. So, but everyone has their own style, and then there's some actors that if they get casted, then they'll do as much research as possible. There are some that are like, you know what, I'm just gonna go in blind and just go for the ride, and you tell me once I get in. And so everyone is different and stuff, but it's it is kind of fun and interesting depending on who you're working with. And it's like, oh, you're coming, I already know that you tried looking up as much as you can. Guess what, there's really not any information about this, so here we go, I'm going to explain it to you. Or sometimes it's like, oh wow, like you really looked up everything you can. That's cool. Which for me, I think it's cool if someone really like takes the time to like find out as much as they can. But it's like, and it's fine if someone doesn't. That doesn't bother me at all. Like, I know that some directors, they're kind of like either or, where it's like, oh no, I want you to go in blind without any information. And then there are some directors that are like, oh cool, you looked it up, you kind of took a deep dive. Oh, that's cool. Ultimately, once the actor is here and in the booth, you give the breakdown and where you let everyone know like where you want to go and take this. But it's also interesting to see like what the actor what's going on in their mind, what they were thinking and stuff. And like sometimes like they have like a angle that they try to they want to present to you and stuff, and it's like, oh well, like that's actually we're on the same wavelength here and stuff. But ultimately, when we start, we flesh out the character and stuff. So, but yeah, hopefully that answered that kind of went on longer, but I hope that answered the question.
Oh, definitely. Let me take a time to mention something. Look at that cat. Look at the shape of that cat. It was perfect. And also, the dude is so heavy. I can see how the bed is going down. I'm like, dude. It's like perfect over there.
He's cool. He's just hanging out.
That's rarely happen, honestly. So I'm like, don't touch him. Let's keep him there.
He's calm, so yeah.
He's very, very stoic.
Fibonacci spiral. Wait, there it is.
So speaking about fun, going to your latest production, Oshi No Ko. That was one of the ones that break the internet. It was I didn't knew was going to be that important. I knew people was waiting about it. I knew there was some hype in the internet, and suddenly week one, the release, not even the release, pre-release, the week of the release, people go crazy on the internet. Mm-hmm. I don't know what's going on. Even it was Sunday night, and like, wait, this is too early. It's supposed to be released on Wednesday. So people is with the hype. Suddenly, boom! Finally, Wednesday release. Internet will go crazy, and from there, it was just a journey into the last episode that was dubbed a few weeks ago. So tell us about the experience dubbing Oshi No Ko. Oh, and how do you describe that series? You have somebody haven't seen it yet.
Heavy. It's a lot. Like it. You definitely go through like a roller coaster of emotions with that show, and you know, I've seen online a lot of people, you know, like describe it like if someone hasn't seen it, like the people that have seen it say just like it's best to just kind of go in blind, just dive in, and I would say so. Like that's really like the best thing. Like it's like if you see you know a movie's coming out and it's like, you know what, don't even watch the trailer, just show up, take that adventure and take that journey, and it's a roller coaster of emotions. As far as recording it was really awesome. I would say that first episode was a lot because like the first one is longer than the rest of the episodes, so you know you're kind of setting the stage, and you're you know introducing everyone, and you know really like connecting with all of these characters. So you know from the get-go, like for every project you give it the care that it needs and deserves. But I remember like episode 1, it was like there was a lot of moving parts and a lot of different things to like really carefully address and introduce and stuff. So really like for that one, like we really wanted to take our time and carefully go through everything. And of course, like the same went for every other episode as well. But yeah, it's like we knew like it's special. It's a special show. So I'm glad it connected with a lot of people. But yeah, it was definitely a roller coaster. Like even recording, it's like, oh wow, like oh my goodness, like But it's like every now and then you just kind of take a step back and just like, okay, all right, let's jump back in. So.
I'm waiting for the nomination of the anime of the year, because anime of the year last year was Cyberpunk, which was a Netflix production. Like,
Mm-hmm.
So there's hope that not Crunchyroll series has to be the winner. And the way Oshi No Ko had hit all this internet, all the markets, I'm like, yeah, I see it nominated very easy and a very good contender over there.
Well, I'm just happy to be here. So whatever everyone decides, that's cool. My main concern, it's just I just want to for this show and every other show, I just want to do my best and really like do my best to deliver a great series for people to enjoy. So if it wins stuff, cool. If it doesn't, cool. I just hope that a lot of people just really enjoyed it and loved the journey.
Definitely. But wait, well, hold it. You're not going to get away from this one. How did this, for those who haven't seen Oshi No Ko yet, how would you sell it? How would you describe it for those who haven't seen it yet? And it will be interesting because this is coming from the director.
Oh god.
So, is it story about love, about romance?
Like
Despite his groans, you're like, okay, yes, it is heavy.
if you want your life to just take a big shift in tone, like you know,
That's true.
just yeah, like go down that route. It's just as long as you're good here, yeah, go ahead and start watching. That's my take on it. That's it. I'm not gonna spoiler it. It's yep. Just be good here and then dive in.
So let's go to the total opposite. For Urusei Yatsura, how would you wait?
Let me just one question, just for my curiosity on this one, on Oshi No Ko. Just one arc, and I know the English version did in America, you guys did the difference on arc of Akane. There was a very deep message, the warning of after the episode that it was in case it was a super sad story over there, and I'm going to try to not spoil it. So,
yeah.
But there was a very important message over there who was right at the end of the credit. Who took that decision of writing that important message? It came from you as a director, or it came from somewhere else?
It was like the team and stuff, because like it's, without spoiling stuff, like
right.
The show touches on a lot of serious and heavy things, and so it's important to address that, and just like for people going through situations that happen in the show, it's important to know that it is serious, but reach out, don't isolate yourself, and so you are important, and so just don't be silent on that, like people care, and so don't be silent.
Right. And I can tell you that was a brave move from the team that was very appreciated by the fan base, because it came to me from so many parts. People say, hey, shout out to the Hey Onyx, do you see this? This was a very awesome, beautiful, great move that probably some other people didn't cross their mind. But that message right there in that moment was like a very powerful to see. So that was a shout out to the team who take those extra steps to add that message.
So okay, so then what I'm hearing, because I don't know about this. I saw the episode, I saw the message, I saw everything, but what I'm not understanding is, so this message was not present then in the Japanese sub. It was only present in the English dub.
As I understand, no. Am I right, Shannon?
To my knowledge, I believe so. It was added just for the English.
Right. It was added in the license on North of America. In Asia, the streaming service over there, it was not added. So that message that was added was for the license here in America, who in this case, who owned the license was Senten Film, HIDIVE. So that's why, and that's why the phone number is the national phone number of America. So let's move to something happier now. Kiara, take it.
Yes. So what I was asking for. Oh, look at him.
Perfect.
Yeah. In between the little toes. So what I was asking, you described Oshi No Ko. Let's go through the same vein. Just as you described Oshi No Ko, let's go to a complete opposite anime. In this case, Urusei Yatsura. How would you describe Urusei Yatsura?
Insanity. Yeah, it's off the wall craziness, like from beginning to end, and it has no chill. It does not calm down, and I absolutely love it. It was, for me, I would say Urusei is like it was very therapeutic to just like, we're doing this. Like, like I've worked on different like heavy levels of comedy for different shows, but this is like so over the top where it's like, this is not normal. This is like a whole different energy. And it's like, I absolutely loved how crazy everyone is, and being able to like come into work and just like, oh, we're here today and we're not coming down. And that's with everyone. So to me, it was nice because like, especially like breaking down the characters and scenes, it's like, yep. And then a lot of people would stare at me like, really? I was like, yeah, no, we're doing this. So I loved it.
I want to make a little parenthesis here, just because you did mention you worked on different levels of comedy and things like that. This has nothing to do with Urusei Yatsura, but have you ever directed any anime that is more on the risque, ecchi side?
Yes, I have. Let's see. There is Mother of the Goddesses Dormitory.
Yes.
Where yeah. So that one, it's funny because I hear about it from different actors that like they go to conventions and they talk about the show, like someone brought up this show and that show, and that's one that's like brought up quite often that I hear about, where it's like, yeah, it is risque. The funny thing about it too is like, it does have like a lot of like heartfelt hitting moments that's like, ooh, like, yeah, and then it is very risque, but this, yeah. But that I've directed Kempfa, which it's an older title, where there are a lot of moments and situations that characters get caught up in. I was an assistant director to Monster Musume, so that was fun.
Yes.
Which directed by the awesome Kyle Kobe Jones, but oh my goodness, yeah, it's funny. It's very funny, but yeah, there's a lot of risque. Like you come across different shows where it's like it is more on that level and stuff, but you still give it all the care and love to create it. But yeah, it's like I've worked on different genres, so it's like it's not all in this, like this one genre over here or over here. It's like, no, you work on a lot of different things, so of course you're gonna come across risque territory.
And this is when I finally lost my last piece of respect. And this anime you find on the playlist on HIDIVE on Watch After Dark animes, which are the best one. Don't forget, please.
My question for you, my question for you is, as a director, when you first came across this type of anime, were you already like, oh, it's anime, or were you like, oh, what is this?
I'll say like at this point now, like, I mean, it never ceases to amaze me with like what comes across from time to time. over the years, it's like you get like, yeah, I know what like you get. Oh, okay, this is what this is. This is what that is, and stuff. But every now and then you get something that's like, oh, was not expecting that. Like you really, yeah, it really took it there. But I mean, over time, you get it. Like, but each show is unique and stuff. So, you know, some shows are like, oh, yeah, I understand the route that it took, or like I know what this is, and then some days it's like 9 o'clock in the morning and you're in the middle of your first cup of coffee, and then whoa, okay, good morning. So yeah, but it is expected that like, yeah, you're gonna eventually cross some surprising things. Yep, we're here.
Look at this. Look at this.
Oh,
Look. Anyway, as a director, when you have this, yeah, I know. As a director, when you have these types of shows, and that's just a close parenthesis, how do you create the safe environment or the safe space for the actors to open up and actually do what's required for this nature of anime, like the sounds and things like that are like, oh my gosh, people are here watching me and listening to me and I have to do this. Like, how do you create that safe space for them to do it?
Well, I mean, when it comes to like risque and heavy levels on that front, really just open honesty from the very beginning and stuff. The like you address everything in a serious manner, and so like something, if it's gonna be a show like this, or there are gonna be scenes like this that are coming up, right from the beginning, it's like, hey, like this is what this is what's happening and stuff. And I like to talk to the person that I want to cast for the show, and seeing their comfort levels, if this is like something that they're okay with and cool with, or if this is something that they don't feel comfortable recording and stuff, and with no fault against them if they say no. It's like, I don't want anyone to be in a role that they don't feel comfortable in, where it's like, especially like a situation like that. So it's really just open honesty. And then for the actual recording process, of course, like you're trying to get the best out of the performance and stuff, but you also don't want someone to feel weird too. So it's like, you take proper steps in the process, but and really just like the back and forth communication, like making sure that they are okay and stuff with this. So it's really like just open communication, and you keep everyone informed, and you take especially like you take everything seriously, but especially scenes and moments like that and stuff, and forewarnings and stuff, and like like that way you see everything that's going on, and you're aware of every single thing, so nothing's surprising you, nothing's like jumping out like, oh yeah, and this kind of happens here. Like no, from the very beginning, open honesty.
But I mean, we were kind of having fun with the risky part, but also there are more sensitive topics like people ethics, religion, belief, culture. Had you faced, without any example, we are giving naming if this happened, had you faced any challenge when mid of the recording series suddenly something show up that goes against the ethic or the belief of the voice actor, and you had to do some remediation about it? Or so far nothing like that has happened?
Well, there are different shows that cover some interesting situations and topics. I would say, as far as like when it comes to the actors, like once again, being open and upfront to the actor is not the character; they're playing the character. So there is a clear,
Say it loud, because many people doesn't understand that.
The actor is not the character. They are voicing and playing a character or the character, but that is not who this person is. So that, of course, is very important. Now, once again, just like when we were talking into the more ecchi stuff, clear communication, and so, like, if we're covering topics that, it may not be ecchi, but it may be uncomforting and stuff like that. Once again, just like we would communicate regarding like ecchi related materials, it's like, yeah, this is something that happens, and this is where the story kind of leans into and stuff. So it's, checking comfort levels. But yeah, like every actor, I would say, understands that this is, I'm just playing a role, because at the end of the day, you walk away and it's like, and I am me when I walk away. This is, this is the character. This is a character that has these views. We do not share the views of this character, so having a clear understanding that this is character, this is the actor.
There's a clear boundary there, yes.
Yes. So
I love when voice actor we interview, they say, "Oh yeah, I had to play this character," and I said it, and then I was like, "Oh my god, I really had to say that." So I feel like that's one of the best moments when we're interviewing voice actors. Changing the aura a little bit. What about the experience dubbing Call of the Night, which is one of my favorite series?
Call of the Night, I really like the Call of the Night a lot, like because there were things that like I think with almost every show, like there, like just about every show, there's something that stands out, or like, at least for me, there's I have like certain memories of like each particular show, and Call of the Night was one of those shows where it's like there are things that I can definitely kind of relate to, especially with like with the main character Ko. Like, one, the show takes place at night, which I'm all about night.
Yeah, like, that's why we're all sleeping right now, because it's morning. This is our night.
I wake up early because I have to. But like, it's like this whole thing, nighttime. And this isn't spoiler, like, because like Ko, like, he has trouble sleeping at night. It's like really like nighttime is where he has like his breathing room of like, I can kind of be me and just be free and stuff, because no one's out and everyone's like inside and stuff. This is kind of a relieving, therapeutic moment, and it's like, oh, I totally get that. And then
that's my character. Yep.
Yeah, I was like, and like the fact that like, he's a more timid, shy character and stuff. And it's like, oh, I mean, I guess not everyone was like more shelled growing up. It was like, no, I can relate to that. When I was younger, like, yeah, I was absolutely, I don't want to talk to people. I just want to kind of and stuff. And so of course, like the different characters that you meet, like Nazuna, big influence on his life, but like, he's this way, she's that way, and it's like, opposites. And so really, like, just the I like the kind of the message that gets told in the story, because without spoiling, I keep saying spoilering. Spoilering.
By the way, the series have been released a few months already, so I don't need to spoil at this point. But,
okay.
Yes, go for it.
Heart's content.
well, like the best way that I can say it, like, I mean, it really, like, it helps say that, like, you know what, it's okay to branch out and be yourself, like, walk into your own skin, and like, yeah, the world's a big place. It can be scary and stuff, but it's okay to be you. Take those steps, the leaps of faith and stuff, and like just being comfortable with who you are and stuff. Like, that's okay. That's fine. you know, a lot of times like we are kind of shelled, and we go about life like, you know, very anxious and you know, just like going through these motions and stuff, as if like no one understands us, no one, you know, I don't have someone to talk to and open up to and stuff. And it's like, you know what, like you're not alone in feeling that way, and that, you know, it's okay to show the world who you are and stuff, instead of like living through this world like unnoticed. So I really do like appreciate that show and stuff, because it's like, yeah, I know what it was like to be like super shy and quiet, and it's like I don't want to be a bother to anyone. I don't, you know, let me just stay in my lane over here, where it's like, no, like show the world who you are, because like you're an awesome person. Let everyone else see that you're an awesome person too, and you know, communicate and you know, yeah, like you meet, you know, you meet amazing people along the way that help open you up more and help you become a better person, and you help other people become better people. So, you know, you are just as important as everyone else, so let the world see that. So and it looks cool, so I like that part too.
True.
Yeah. So, but yeah,
Shannon.
yes.
Yeah, no. Oh, were you gonna say something else?
Oh yeah, just like I absolutely.
Before I interrupted you.
Oh no. I was just gonna say, yeah, I absolutely love the way it looks, and the just the comedic comedy, the jokes, and how random some of these characters are. It's like, yeah, I've got some friends that are random like that. Like,
Yep.
There's like there's this group of guys that are in the show. They're not in every episode, but at night it's like these group of three where they're always like
drinking,
or like they're like, you see them on the corner and they're just like happy, like yeah, ah! It's like, yeah, I mean, I think we all kind of know people there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's that group of friends.
Definitely.
Yay!
Yeah. We all name those three guys, each person. Like, oh yeah, and I see those people where I work at, and the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is so relaxing. Those night sky. Oh,
yeah, it's so beautiful. The music is like, it's so good, and it's like there is like a level of calmness with that show too. Like, of course, there are stakes that get raised and everything, and we have intense moments, but overall, like at the end, you kind of walk away with just like a moment.
Yeah. So, Shannon, my question before we wrap up. My question for you is, you mentioned that you take something that's like memorable in each of the animes you're directing. What would you say has been like your most memorable moment as a director? Like, you don't have to mention any specific anime if you don't want to, but like that moment that just is like a core memory right now.
So I've got a few.
Mention a few.
there is okay, there's one that I thought was like a nice funny moment where it's like there was a show called Shirobako that I directed that was like, it was like very meta, because it was a show about an anime company making anime, and it is like, it's a massive cast, it's so many characters, and it was like it was insane to write. Like, it's like just so much going on, but that was like with how many characters and subplots going on in that entire story, which on the production side it would be like insane, but like it was very like therapeutic, or like it was very calming for me to work on that show, because like, yeah, I completely understand and can relate to this and that. Yep, that's you. This is this coworker. This is this person. Oh yeah, and it's like I even pinpointed like some of me in there. It's like, oh yeah, no, that's absolutely me over here. Which I won't say which characters are, but it's like it was great, and like, you know, like there is like this one moment, like it's early on, like in the first episode, where you follow Aoi Miyamori, and there's a moment that she has with her friends, like back when they're in school, like before they go to college, before they get into careers and stuff like that, where it's like just them talking about their dreams and what they want to do, and it's like that hit pretty hard, because it's like, like I remember a point where it's like, yeah, like, I was like younger, and it's like working like high school, working at this job. I was like, I want to do this. I want to, like, how do I get there and stuff? And then just like you see the journey, and it's like, and it's not like all perfect. It's like, she goes through, her and her friends, like you see that starting point, the dream and stuff, and then you see like the journey, and really the show is the journey. Like you get to a point where like the place or the point that you want to be at, but there's still so much to do and so much more to go. And it's like that really hit, because it's like I remember like being at that point, and then also like having friends with that same dream, that same idea, where it's like, this is what I want to do, this is where I want to go and stuff. And it's like really more of like seeing the grind after, where it's like, it's cool to end up at a spot here, like great, but it's like it's like the work, it's the stuff that like people don't see. And like that whole show, it's very funny, and there's a lot of very accurate stuff, but it's like you go through the journey, like this is what it's like to get there. So that one stood out for me. I would say like Call of the Night, there was like it was like the end of F1, where I think Nazuna pushed him off of like a building. And I just like, to me, like that was like a very like soothing, like, she catches him, because you gotta tell the rest of the show, but she like tells him or something like, I got you, or something, and that I was like, I like that a lot. Also, like Gabriel Regojo and Natalie Rial, they voiced the main two characters, Ko and Nazuna. And one thing that like I cannot get out of my brain is the one Nazuna's laugh, because that is almost accurate to like, that's just Natalie being Natalie and stuff, when it comes to like the laughter and characters. Like, yeah, this is very much just, this is you. And then one thing I will never forget is like every single time, because we're talking minor spoilers, but not really spoilers, but like Nazuna is a vampire, and just the recording process of like like vampire, her sucking blood, it's like we spent so much time on like every single blood sucking moment, like, okay, all right, let's start this again. And so like when you're just like spending so much time like just hearing that sound, and it's like, well, it's better, but let's start from the top, let's reduce the amount of the heavy breathing, let's pump this up and stuff. And it was like, just oh my goodness, which we got everything that we needed and stuff. But it was like, I will never forget that. Like that is like one of the core things that every single time I think of that, it's like, yeah, you know what it took to get that sound. It was like, it took forever. But yeah, that's one. The I would say like the one that really stood out, like I worked on this show called Chihayafu, which was like 3 seasons now, but the first season, it was a pretty massive cast, and like it was like years ago, where it's like I was like really like I never like I wrote so many notes, and like I was burning through like notepads because it was so much going on. And it's like it's sports anime, and there's this game that they play called Karuta, and so it's like I had to learn the game, and because it really exists, and it is like, you know, it gets very detailed, and it's like, I was like, you know, just nonstop, like, you know, of course, like, you know, I work on it nonstop. We go home and I'm like rewatching over and over and over and over and over again and stuff, like with story arc, characters, situations, and it's like, because it's massive amount of characters, and not only that, but the game, because it goes very heavy into the game, where it's like, you know, you even have like you have like these cards, that it's called the Hyakuni Nishu, which it's the 100 poems, and these are like 100 of them, and throughout this, well, all 3 seasons, you cover a lot of them, which at this point is like, yeah, you know, you're memorizing poems at this point, but it's like understanding like this poem and that poem, and it's like this, it's not just a poem, there's meaning behind everything. And then not only that, but in the game, it's timing and stuff, so you have to know what to look out, like you have to like know the ins and outs of the game. And I was like looking up actual tournaments and stuff between the show, like that was part of my research, where it's like, no, like I know what the story is and I know what's happening, but it's like, get a better understanding, I just like deep dove into just like as much as I could, and then just like nonstop, I was just playing it at home. I would nonstop playing the show, and it got to a point where I love the show. It's great. It's a wonderful show. But I was like having dreams of like the show opening, like the opening song and stuff. That would be like running in my brain, and I wake up in the middle of the night like, yeah. But overall, it's a wonderful show, and it's like that is like kind of holds a special place, because like throughout the years of like the seasons being released, like it's a lot, and it was like it's a heavy, intense show with a lot of details, but every time it like comes back, it's like kind of like a nice, yeah, like I remember you, like it's like, hey old friend, like here we go back for another adventure. But anyway, yeah, it's yeah, for every show, like there's like something that stands out, that it's like, yep, I'll never forget this, and it's just like memory locked in your brain, where it's like, you know, so sometimes like fans have like special moments that are like, yeah, this was my favorite part of the show, and then I'll think about that same show and it's like, well, my locked memory is something completely random and different, but I'm glad you like this, but mine is like something that like no one would like even pinpoint or something, like, yeah, that background character over there, and they said this, and it was like, yeah, that's what my brain goes to. So, but lots of fun moments.
So Shannon, before we wrap up, is there any social media or webpage or anything that people can find you at?
Yes. You can find me on Twitter or X.
Oh jeez.
At Shannon D. Reed, which that's you'll see a lot of announcements or for shows and things that get released or starts airing. You can follow me on Instagram. I am the Arcade Prince. Yeah. Like I have a Twitch, and so you can find me on Twitch as the same name, where I'll play like different games, like I'll play a lot of retro stuff, as well as I like open world and building stuff too, so it can be random, but on Instagram you'll see a lot of pictures of my dog or just random food, so that's cool. And then I am on TikTok as Shannon D. Reed, and so there you can see a lot of once again, dog pictures, as well as like announcements for shows or things happening. So yeah.
Perfect. And then for all of us here at El Koki Otaku, you can find every link down in the description. We are on Twitter. Oh, wait, sorry. The platform formerly known as X. Formerly known as Twitter, X. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. Every single social media platform that there is, you can find us there. And once again, thank you, Shannon, for joining us today. The cat also says goodbye.
That's a cool
cat.
Right.
And thank you. And for everybody at home, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of El Koki Otaku. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.
Sayonara.